Welcome, my friends, to the madness, the depravity, the wonderment, the agony, the island of Dr. Moreau, 1996. Widely considered to be one of the worst movies ever made. And I do mean ever made here. Now look, for as bad and crazy as the movie itself is, the actual making of it was apparently 10 times worse. And look, it is not every day we get to hear all about what goes behind the scenes of a project here, because a lot of times people like to stay tight-lipped about things here and there. This would eventually go on to have its own documentary, which got much more positive reception than the movie. Okay. That being said, though, to some, The Island of Dr. Moreau 1996 these days is not just a 90-something minute movie, but to some, a 3-hour-something hour movie. And not because, oh, it's so bad it feels that long, though it may, but more so because, to get the full experience, you truly need to look at this movie and a documentary based off of it. But, which is why first, we will be looking at the movie. Then followed up by Lost Soul, The Doomed Journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. What a mouthful of a title that is. So, on the show, we've looked at little pictures like Fan Four Stick and the New Mutants. Stuff that were bouts of development hell. Hell, New Mutants itself got no less than 4 delays here. Well, get ready for a movie that makes all of that look like a kiddie pool by comparison. Unfortunately, since Dej won't be with us for the documentary, I will be sprinkling in some tiny tidbits about what did go on. Mainly more so the Cliff Notes version. Oh, no. The full version, that's something you're getting tomorrow with the documentary. But you know what? Maybe this movie isn't so bad. I mean, so what if the original lead actor, Rob Morrow, broke down in tears and said...
Wait, this was done by the director of A Manchurian Candidate? What?
Yep. It depends on which director you're talking about.
The John Frankenheimer.
Yes, there are technically 2 directors to this movie, but... yeah, okay. So, let me just run off a bit of a Cliff Notesing here. Sure, this movie is bad, but how bad could it really be if the original lead actor broke down in tears, sent literal SOSs, and had to be let out of his contract? How bad could it be if the lead actress literally tried to escape Australia and was caught at the airport and forced to come back? No, I'm not kidding. How bad could it be if the original director went flipping mad, shredded his notes, and then vanished off into the Australian jungle? No, I am not kidding. How bad could it be that at some point people just went crazy and had drug-fueled parties and orgies in the night of a jungle? And yet, that is only a fraction of what we're getting into. It was one of those kinds of productions. But you know what? Let's begin the journey here. Start at the New Line Cinema logo of The Island of Dr. Moreau, 1996, because it's time to play God. In 3, 2, 1, click. And yes, all that stuff I talked about, I was not kidding. That stuff happened. The people actually tried to escape the continent to get away from this movie.
So when is this getting into multiverses?
Oh God, I
Wait,
guess.
Does Warner Brothers own New Line Cinema?
Yeah.
Basically, this movie was made back when New Line Cinema were a rising studio all on their own and wanted to make a name for themselves here and there.
I think this was around the same time we were about to do the Dungeons and Dragons movie as well.
Or 4 years after.
Another not very
my
good
bad,
movie.
then. But it's more hilarious. I wonder if it's gonna be the same.
Is it a John Frankenheimer film?
For the record, audience, I did check before, and at least it seems that me and Jova seems to be the one who knows about the original source material. I didn't ask you, Pedro. Did you actually know about the original story?
No, I know nothing about this.
What about you, Dej?
Nope.
Wow, I'm genuinely surprised
wow.
considering, again, even basic stuff like The Simpsons did a parody of, not necessarily this, but the story in general, and it's relatively known. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
What episode was it?
It was one of the Trials of Horror early ones. I forgot which specific short was it. So I will not spoil exactly what is going on, especially because I don't know if this adaptation, does it justice or not. But I'm just getting an inkling that it might not.
Wait, Django Fett?
Yes. William Hootkins is also in this too.
Also, can this
His intro sequence is obnoxious.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like those early 2000 superhero movies sped up by 3.
What?
I guess it when I see that he learned nothing from Spawn. Actually, he was actually preparing from Spawn the year after this.
All right. Apparently, the reason that John Frankenheimer got hired to replace the original director was because he had a good history of controlling inflated egos of the actors. One such example, if you can call it that, was that as soon as Val Kilmer's scenes were done, he was reported to have yelled, "Cut! Now get that bastard off my set!" and after the release, he said, "There are 2 things I will never do in my life. I won't climb Mount Everest, and I'll never work with Val Kilmer again. There isn't enough money in the world." Even Brando apparently got so fed up with him, he told him, "You're confusing your talent with the size of your paycheck." Now, I would say that was rich of Brando coming off what happened with Superman 1, but that's
also, I guess the movie can now start.
Yeah,
it was kind of rough. Also, the Java Sea. Is this where all the mobile games come from?
Sure, why not?
So here is our main actor here, our main character here, Douglas, played by David Thewlis. And no, he is not playing one of the animal hybrids, ironically enough.
What's the fake Jover? If he's the main character, then what's with Kilmer and Brando being on the front, being the main advertised actors on the front?
Star power.
Oh, great! We're off to a great start.
Simple those, because they're the most recognizable names. For the same reason that Chow Yun-fat got top billing in Pirates
It's
3,
a flare gun.
even though he's barely in it.
Okay, getting it was close range, but a flare gun cannot seriously hurt you that much.
Jover, are you sure this isn't the documentary?
Well, the knife might be a bit better.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, seriously. These are all the actors going crazy on each other.
Oh, yes. The actors did go crazy during it. Oh, hello there.
Oh!
Literal.
Now you're both dead.
Intervention!
Okay, so now we're in a really shitty Jaws sequel.
Yeah, complete with those specific camera shots. It's just
So
like
you guys have been out here for a while, right?
Yeah, that was mentioned in the narration. I guess because we're going mad from spending like day and night there.
Yeah. Also, David Thewlis apparently has such a horrible time making the film. He skipped the premiere and vowed to never watch the film.
Yep. It was so bad that he didn't even show up for the documentary making.
Charge of this camera work.
Also, considering what I know about the story, I get that this is supposed to be a parallel for later, but I just wonder where the movie is going.
Oh, believe it or not, what you just saw was the movie's sane point.
Oh, goody.
Okay,
not even the end credits are safe.
So the role Val Kilmer played in the film was originally supposed to be played by I think it was Val Kilmer. I don't know.
Rob
the
Morrow.
casting is a bit confusing. Yeah, Bruce Willis was originally supposed to be in the film, but he left because he was getting divorced from his wife Demi Moore at the time. So Val Kilmer came in, who ended up during the production of the film found out he was going for a divorce for a news report, while at the same time, Marlon Brando not only was having to deal with the suicide of his daughter, but also apparently he was facing accusations of nuclear testing at one of his atolls.
What?
Yes. Tio, the production of
This
this
is
movie.
wild.
Okay, combined with what we know about the trial for
We
the
are
murder of
6
his
minutes
son.
into this movie.
Oh, no, Dej. Combined what we know about also the trial for murder of his son, it sounds like Marlon Brando's story is very interesting to listen to.
Look. Like I said, guys, the making of this movie might be one of the most cursed movie productions ever.
What a great transition.
Now, however, the reason why I'm not entirely sympathetic towards Kilmer on this front is that, yes, it sucks going through a divorce, and it sucks hearing about it on the news first. That being said, acting like a massive douchebag about it to the cast isn't the right way to go about it.
As we've seen in Red Planet, the guy that did not learn his lesson.
Hey, speaking of Val Kilmer, here he is.
That's why, off commentary, I mean, I'm sorry, you're a grown man, and if you hadn't learned anything in that amount of time, you're just being an arsehole.
I dare ask, what's in that bottle?
Fluids to keep him alive. So anyway,
Let's just call it fluids.
So here's Val Kilmer playing Montgomery, the assistant doctor to the ever so wonderful Dr. Moreau.
But Jova, wasn't he supposed to play another character?
Yes, he was supposed to play David Lewis's character, but he'd been in Batman Forever, which made him primetime star material. And by God, didn't he know it. See, he was now a big star shot movie man, and his time was precious. So he demanded that his film screen time be cut down to 40%. In order to do this...
By 40%?
Yes. In order to do this, the original director, Richard Stanley, don't worry, we'll be talking about him quite a bit, opted to give him the position of Montgomery, which was originally fulfilled by actor James Woods, who, yeah, let's be honest, James Woods probably would have been better for that role than Val Kilmer. But regardless, though, they had to boot Woods off the project to make room for Kilmer, because Kilmer was what was big at the time. Oh, the irony. Because this would be the film that would kind of derail his career due to his shenanigans.
Well, I mean, again, I know, shitty divorce, but if you're being a prat, you've only got yourself to blame.
Basically, Kilmer is the main reason that John Frankenheimer had to be brought on, because the original director Richard Stanley was unable to control Kilmer, that was the final straw that essentially saw New Line Cinema replacing Richard Stanley with John Frankenheimer. And that is what led to Richard Stanley going crazy, shredding his notes, and then disappearing into the jungle. The movie production still went on after that, by the way. Just wanted to let you know. It sounds like the development of the movie is far more interesting than the movie itself.
Yeah,
yes.
That's the thing, though. All mention of this film, I only ever hear about its production. I never hear anything about its story. It's not like Apocalypse Now, what Brando was also in.
Again, Dwebs, it's like with Little Nemo. Yes, the production of it is incredibly interesting and baffling. The movie itself, not so much.
Again, now that said, when the movie does get crazy, it's bad. Like, I do feel like part of the reason this is considered one of the worst movies ever made is, well, because we know pretty much more or less all the production of it, and it is insane. It has stories including a house getting struck by lightning twice, hurricanes, a hyena being spotted in Ireland, which from what I've heard is, well, not a usual sight here and there.
No, definitely not.
Like,
well, I mean, they filmed this in Australia.
Also,
and it comes from, I kid you not, a warlock as well. Yes, witchcraft was also involved in the making of this movie, in a sense. But again, that's best saved for stuff like the documentary.
Okay, considering also from personal experience when I see it, I'm gonna bet every single answer for bit that I have that they have to do multiple takes of this, because if you put many rabbits into this cage like that, chances are they're gonna start fucking immediately.
That would
be Tio, you've seen Donut County. Oh, you know.
Believe it or not, that would be one of the less insane things that happened during the making of this movie.
I do have an anecdote that I will spare it for the final thoughts because the movie needs more attention.
When Stanley got fired, He and one of the female lead of the movie, Feruza Balk, grew close during the making of the film. So when he was fired, Balk was none too happy about that and flat out tried to leave the country, as Jova was referring to.
She was stopped at the airport.
Yeah. Well, okay. What happened was she drove from Cairns to Sydney, which is like 2,500 kilometers in a limo. But her agent told her that if she did that, the studio would ruin her. So, if she broke her contract, so she had to return to the set.
Oh wow!
I want to be there.
The rabbit wants out of this nonsense.
Wow!
Please don't yell at me, Val.
You see, guys, the production's so bad, even the animals in it wanted out of it.
Don't kiss the rabbit. Yeah.
Give a bit.
Okay. To be
He's
fair,
not gonna kill you for it, right?
So-
Why does this guy look like a discount Benedict Cumberbatch?
which one?
Our protagonist. I was just about to ask: is he the same guy who played
Lupin? Yes.
Lupin in the Harry Potter movies? Oh
Yes.
man!
And again, ironically, he is not one of the animal hybrids of this movie. Go figure.
And he's. That's the thing, though. We've been talking about Kilmer a lot. That's not to say. It's like I said earlier. It's not like Brando got off scot-free for this film either.
Don't worry. We'll get to Brando when he shows up.
Yeah, because from what I've watched of the films from what I've seen of the films Brando's been in that I've seen Apocalypse Now, I've seen The Godfather, I've seen Superman 1 and the Donner cut of 2, and I'm seeing this film right now. The vibe I got off him is that when he was on his A game, he was one of the best actors around. Almost every other time, he was a douchebag.
Here's the thing. Marlon Brando was like this, I don't want to say chaotic good, because he had a lot of crap, but he was kind of like this chaotic charm that was both a gift and a curse. Like, he revolutionized acting, but he also grew to hate acting, hated Hollywood, hated everything to do with it, and he showed his contempt with it every moment he could. And because he was such a big name... Okay, Pedro, you know how you joke about Martin Sheen pretty much doing everything he could in Twilight and knowing they wouldn't fire him for it?
Yes.
That is pretty much what Marlon Brando was literally confirmed to be doing. And don't worry, when you see the stuff he did in this movie, it was literally because he knew they couldn't fire him. He was the biggest name, and he was kind of the main reason this movie got made. See, a lot of people joined on this movie because, and you'll be hearing this a lot, they wanted to work alongside Marlon Brando. Working alongside Marlon Brando was the dream. He was one of the big names. Oh boy, I'm sure that's not something they would grow to regret.
Although, funny thing about Stanley though, after he got fired from the film, he actually stayed in Australia, but he suffered a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
So, and then he ended up. But then by a chance meeting with some of the film's,
Oh, wait.
staff.
Okay, wait. I think we should save that one for later. Again, for as much as talking about the production of this movie is, we will have an entire commentary for that later.
Hello, lady. Do you mind
though, what's the story so far? David Thewlis and Val Kilmer are on an island trying to do something.
That's a direction.
Oh, boy. Is it her? I think it is. Ladies and gentlemen, Dorothy from Return to Oz, now grown up.
Oh, man, seriously?
Yes, Feruza Balk was Dorothy from Return to Oz.
She doesn't have a great face in this movie, I can tell that. That's probably genuine stressor from the production.
Oh, again, she was the actress who tried to escape the country to get away from this movie.
The dancing is to help her cope.
I can definitely see that on her face.
Is she drunk?
Well, considering how there were sessions where some people would get drunk, drugged up, and again, like I mentioned, have orgies, maybe all of the above.
Okay, not tied to the pre-production, but I'm curious on one thing, Jova.
Yeah.
The Dominic Noble had a video tied to this.
I have not seen a video of his tied to this yet. It's probably something he'll eventually get to covering, probably.
Alright.
Oh,
Also-
okay.
also,
The whole
Misa-
divorce. Sorry, go on, Tim. You go first.
Means, are you like the protagonist of Get Fuzzy that believes the UK doesn't exist? It's like every probably fictional because the UK doesn't exist.
There is kind of a reason for that. Just remember how she sniffed him. It'll come back into play later.
Right,
So-
I forgot.
Yeah. Apparently, the whole divorce thing with Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Apparently, the separation didn't happen until 2 years after the film came out, and the divorce was made final 2 years after that.
Oh,
I'm
God.
sorry. What was that shot with Val Kilmer sucking on the flower?
Okay, let me put it like this. This movie may have been a competition between Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando to see who could do the weirdest stuff there. Also, that bit where he calls Fariza Bulk's character a pussycat. Remember that for later, too.
Okay, so genuine question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did this movie kill anybody's career?
Yes!
The director, he did.
I mean, the actors. Did it kill any of the actors' career?
Okay, it
It didn't help any.
Well,
It didn't help
Kilmer
any. But
certainly
that's
not.
for sure.
He still did stuff after this.
Okay. When it comes to Val Kilmer, it may not have killed his career right there and then, but it was essentially the derailing that would lead to his career eventually puttering out. Mind you, that was before he sadly got lung cancer.
That's for the director. As for the director, John Frankenheimer, he did 2 movies and a short before sadly passing away in 2002.
That's the thing, Tio. Those 2 movies were probably part of the deal he got for taking on this turkey.
Running and
Basically,
reindeer games.
after this film, Brando only did 3 films after this: The Brave, Free Money, and The Score.
Were those good?
Can you stop? Okay.
Well, one of them was directed by Johnny Depp. The other from the director of, funnily enough, the 2000 TV version of the Nuremberg trial documentary. So maybe Free Money was decent.
Oh my god, wait.
I don't think I've seen anything Frank Oz has directed in regards to The Score.
Wait, oh my god, The Brave. Isn't that Johnny Depp's old shame that he actually tried to get would never be shown again in America?
Yeah,
Never heard of that.
Oh dear. Well,
It was when Johnny Depp tried to be a director.
Tio, there's a good reason. Johnny Depp has gone through so much legal hell to try and make it so that nobody can ever see that movie again. He's that ashamed by it. I haven't seen it myself, but I have heard that it is his old shame. Yeah, they'll totally send a plane for you.
Why is the dialogue so awkward?
What, to get him out of Australia?
I do. Okay.
Oh, please look tier.
Okay, I should probably explain why some of the dialogue is like this. See, as we've mentioned, this movie has 2 different directors.
Excuse you, sir.
This is for your own good. Is that what Kilmer told all the extras that day that they...
That's because
Yeah, they actually locked them all up. This is the behind the scenes
they were going to
rule.
leave the country as well.
You're not leaving the country before I do.
So, genuine question.
Bars
what
on the
did
window.
What?
Oh, goody.
This is the second movie in a row where the protagonists are basically
What
stuck in a
are
prison.
these transitions?
Oh, sorry, I thought. Sorry, Jover. For a second, I thought he yelled Val Kilmer.
Oh, great. All right, Remus. Let's see how much you've invested in lockpicking, I guess.
David, what are you doing? Said the director.
Trying to
I
escape.
can't get the movie before he gets me.
Yeah.
Also, that didn't take long, I guess.
Well, to be fair, it's now night, so I guess it took a while.
No, but I mean, in terms of movie, I get the idea that normally we will try to build up a bit more his situation, but the scene after he managed to correctly lockpick the lock.
So as for why a lot of the dialogue in this movie feels stilted, basically when Stanley was let go as director, he shredded up all his production notes. And this was before Marlon Brando had apparently officially come to set, because, he was away due to the death of his daughter and all that. So, when Stanley shredded up his notes, his vision was left for no one to do it. And because he went stir-crazy and, like I said, vanished off into the jungle, they literally didn't know what to do, but they had sunk too much money in it. So, essentially, everyone was scrambling to try and just write up a new production or story for this, essentially.
Oh, wow.
So what you're seeing is essentially the second draft of a story written on the fly as everyone was
improvising. Oh man.
Yeah.
I feel bad for them.
Yes, I know. I want to leave this film too, but there's no good screaming about it. So what's this then?
I don't like this noise.
The animals seem a little restless for some reason.
Yes, so this donkey will provide... Oh, sorry, a llama. This llama will provide enough cover for me. Thanks.
The neck will, just hide behind the neck.
But genuine question, what exactly happened to this movie that it just became bad?
Okay, look. I really do feel like it really does all start with the whole Bruce Willis stuff here.
Hunter.
Because Bruce Willis leaving would eventually be what led to Val Kilmer coming on board, and Val Kilmer would be the domino that would really knock things into place here. And then when Marlon Brando finally came on board, that's when just all hell broke loose.
What the fuck?
What?
How lovely.
Oh, God.
You know what?
What the hell?
My...
Okay, so
I should go.
So he's just been into an evil scientist laboratory.
That's one ugly baby.
Don't worry.
Not as bad as the Arnie baby though from Junior.
I'm sure the mother thinks it's really pretty.
Yes.
Lady, I don't even know who your father is.
Oh, you'll see.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, though,
Alright,
if it weren't for what I'm seeing so far, if it weren't for the production, this one's probably just been brushed off as just a pretty...
Please tell me that's as crazy as it gets.
No, Deji, there is more crazy stuff to come.
Also, Dweebs, we haven't checked yet. Who's the composer?
Let me see.
So, the plot of this movie is that they're turning people into furries, yes?
Yes. And that is the thing that I know from the original story. The idea is that the survivors are
Gary Chang.
Oh, I haven't never heard of him.
He scored films such as like Under Siege.
Huh. Basically, the general point is that survivors are to design discovered by the teacher Dr. Moreau has made experiment to combine animals and humans into anthropomorphic beings. Which eventually leads to his own demise. But again, I don't even know what this movie is gonna do with this. Again, the Simpsons parody ends up with all the cast being transformed into animals themselves and enjoying their life on the island. Oh, go away!
And yet, that still looks better than the effects from Cats.
Okay, that CGI not so much, Joe.
Okay, the CGI not so much. But to give this movie credit, the actual makeup is actually pretty phenomenal.
It's from Stan Winston.
Basically, however, one thing to remember, the makeup effects were so good that they were literally...
No, not the bunnies.
Yes, the bunnies.
Oh, please!
I really hope Alice doesn't wake up and turn around right now.
Does Alice like bunnies?
Yes.
Does Alice have a Twitter account?
No.
Dej!
Come on, Dej.
Deji, Alice is a smart individual and doesn't use social media at all.
Assassimon?
What?
Assassin.
Is this the new season of Dejimon?
These, God, there's something about these
Also-
effects that I can't.
Also, this is the worst Planet of the Apes movie I've ever seen.
That's it, Planet of the Apes. I was like, is this Planet of the Apes?
Yeah,
Is that what they were going for?
again, the
Wait,
makeup
wait,
is a
you
bit
didn't tell me.
similar.
Debs, you didn't tell me that this was actually a secret Planet of the Apes movie.
So guys, you want to know?
Yeah, it's like, so what? Were Fox? Maybe this was yeah. That's actually be a good conspiracy theory. That this is going to be a Planet of the Apes film, but Fox saw how shitty the script was and just let New Line Cinema have it.
So guys, you want to know how hyped up this movie was? Guess who they got to narrate the trailer for this movie?
Morgan Freeman?
Freeman? God damn
Nope.
it.
Peter Cullen.
Let me guess, in a world where people get turned into animals.
Yeah,
No,
something.
that's a Don LaFonte.
Why did the gate sounded like a gun?
I don't know.
Oh.
Hey, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman is in this movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
To be
What are you
fair,
doing here?
Ron Perlman does have a thing with makeup
What-
acting here and there. So
What year was it in Resurrection? I don't think it was too distant from this one.
The Alien Resurrection was 1997.
The year after
What's that?
this.
I think, is it just me or is Pillman's voice a bit muffled in that makeup?
Probably because of that.
It is very thick makeup. Okay, let me put it to you how intense this makeup was. All the prosthetics had to be fitted to a specific person, as in, they weren't interchangeable. They were meant to practically merge them into that here and there. Like, what you're seeing all here is completely practical. And that's probably...
They couldn't put some ADR in post?
Reject humanity, return to monkey.
No.
That is more... You know what's sad? That's kind of a plot point in the
That's
end
the
of
thing,
Dr. Moreau.
that's the thing, Shiroi. Ron Perlman's character is clearly more like of a ram than a monkey.
Well, okay, that's the thing too. The idea of return to monkey applies to animals in general here.
Yeah, I know that.
He does have a more, like, Mr. Tumnus face, actually.
He's also, he has horns and he's showcased, but he has hooves instead of that.
Oh boy, the father's coming.
I wonder who this person
Okay.
Okay. Either the character's really that terrifying.
Oh!
Oh.
Hey.
Brando's coming, run!
I can tell you this. I know this costume because Marlon Brando in this costume is particularly using a lot of reaction images for shitposting purposes.
Let me put it like this. This was the scene where everyone was excited because this was when Marlon Brando had finally come to set. And everyone was like, oh god, it's Marlon Brando, I can't wait to meet Marlon Brando. This was the first they got to see him, and
Basically a cheap copy of a Popemobile.
now, let me put it like this.
Yeah.
Marlon Brando pretty much went as far as he could in this movie, because he knew they couldn't fire him. And by God, what he came up with was, oh boy. It was,
I'm looking for.
Let me put it like this. This getup, that was all his doing. Because, well, Marlon Brando was morbidly obese and the heat was getting to him. So he literally colored himself in, well, this white lotion and whatnot to help cool off.
Okay. Yeah, I can tell some of these lines actually have been ADR'd.
This guy's been through a lot.
Which one?
Annie.
Just look at all these faces.
Beep. Oh. Also, you can tell that there was some green screening, like this.
All right, so I just need some.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
yeah, but for this instance, Marlon Brando forgot his line for a second.
Oh, Tio. Marlon Brando refused to learn his lines for this movies. He had to have...
Improv,
it's almost like...
fantastic.
No,
Isn't that what happened in Superman 1?
Tio, it's even better. He had to have an earpiece on and his assistant would read lines to him. Except, get this, one time, his radio literally caught up a police radio, so he accidentally reported a robbery in one of his lines.
Yeah, Ted, yeah, I can imagine it. I can imagine it going something like this, like, ladies and gentlemen,
Excuse me,
please simmer
what
down.
is this?
A robbery is in progress at Sydney Street 2489. Oh fuck!
Oh God, that poor actor. We'll get to him later. So yes, this is Isa. Oh right, and
Okay,
this
visually,
actor.
this movie is making me feel sick.
To be fair, the point of Dr. Moreau is to make you feel disturbed in the visuals here, so fair enough. That being said, that guy is played by Nelson De La Rosa, who was at the time the world's smallest man here. Marlon Brando became obsessed with him to the point where he had him in way more scenes than he was originally supposed to be, gave him miniature outfits and stuff to do, and yes, this was indeed the inspiration for stuff like Mini-Me from the Austin Powers movies, and also, the crazy doctor from South Park's little man with him. What is it, Pedro?
I remember
Kevin.
he shows up in...
No. The crazy scientist guy from South Park.
The one that shows up also
That's
in...
Mephisto. That's Mephisto, but you're thinking about the little guy near him. That's Kevin.
Yeah. Basically, this is arguably what inspired all that. More in the documentary, but trust me, there is so much to go into it.
So basically, Jova, speaking of actors not learning lessons from their past mistakes, you say Brando refused to learn his lines.
Yes.
That was the exact same thing in the first Superman movie, where he refused to learn his lines there, so he had cue cards all over the place.
Good lord.
Yep.
See, it's
because you're a famous mega Hollywood movie star doesn't mean you shouldn't be expected.
Oh wait, this bit.
To basic.
Wait, listen.
Wow, that line.
Was he talking about what he was doing or the production of the movie?
All right, so I just need some clarification here, guys.
Yes.
Yes, that you are awake currently.
No. Which one of you guys chose this movie?
Jova. But
Okay.
again, that's here's the thing. It's been this like around, I think, since September, because before that, I don't even remember Jova talking about this, so I generally wonder how he did discover this thing.
Oh, God.
Was Brando moving his lips as if he was trying to sing, but nothing came out of his mouth?
I don't
Probably.
know.
I get the idea that the piano is 8 yard, which is supposed to be Chopin.
Oh, how nice, Tio! Chopin representation. By the way,
Hooray.
you gotta love Phyllis's line from earlier. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen before. Look at yourself. That, I do wonder, was maybe Phyllis just taking a lashing at
Elton
Brando.
John is
Oh, wow.
crying at
What?
the scene.
Jova, please tell me there's one point where Brando turns to an actor and says, "I cannot sanction your buffoonery."
Okay, he didn't say those exact lines, but he did do something akin to that with Val Kilmer here. Let me put it like this.
That's what I said earlier. He basically said, "You're confusing your talent with the size of your paycheck."
Okay, I feel so sorry for the actor playing Ling here. Again, this is much more documentary stuff. Let's just say this guy suffered indignity after indignity.
Marco of Schneider.
I really have to wonder, consider this movie, the version we're watching is a director's cut. Like, you think maybe this director's cut was the director trying to say, "Look, you morons, this is my masterpiece, please look at it." Like,
we haven't even mentioned
to make you understand.
Director, though.
We haven't even mentioned this bit. The budget in total, despite all these problems, was $40 million. Not that much for a movie like this.
Whoa. Up. Keep in mind, Tio, this was 1996. $40 million back then is like the equivalent to $90 million nowadays.
Okay, and it grossed 49.6. So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, welcome.
I'm gonna check in the meantime something else. Go on.
Welcome to a game of what the hell is Marlon Brando wearing? Because seriously, every costume was Brando's idea. I kid you not. He was literally going to get away with as much as he could. That being said, you may have noticed that the one he calls his daughter, Isa, is the most human-looking, like, you know, almost to the point where you think she probably is human.
One of these things is not like the others.
Uh-huh.
You know, Jova, I'm picking the Cats movie in response to this.
Oh!
You were already doing that before this shit, right?
Oh!
No, I was considering it. Now I'm definitely doing it.
So that's gonna be your Christmas
Merry Christmas.
Thank
Keep
you.
the change, you filthy animal.
But yeah, you know, give me some credit. The effects in this are still better than the effects in Cats.
Well, that's not really surprising. There's actually plenty of 90s movies, hell, even 80s movies with special effects that have aged remarkably.
Wait, did you guys do a commentary of Cats yet?
No. That's
We
what
will.
Shiroy's picked.
Yeah.
Whose pick is that?
Shiroy's.
Shiroi, obviously.
I thought you said you chose a good movie, Shiroi.
I did.
Okay.
For this run, not for the next run.
Oh.
She's talking about our Christmas runs, Dej.
There we go. Alright. When the movie came out, it was in competition with the 1996 version of Gotti, Girls Town, Carpool, She's the One, a movie called Solo with Mario Van Peebles and William Handler, The Spitfire Grill, a very bad sequel. The competition was non-existent for this. It should have not grossed this little.
I was gonna say, like, I don't think he's wearing a bandana.
I don't want to see
it
what
looks
he's going.
like
Oh man!
it looks like he's wearing a tablecloth on his head.
Oh, an interesting thing about the director, John Frankenheimer. At one point, he was considered to play James Bond.
Oh.
Also, I can tell that these dinner scenes probably just as tasteless as the ones in Temple of Doom. Thanks for that.
Why can't my experiments act more civilized?
It's gold.
Right.
Just to play God.
Well, okay.
But why?
Okay. The idea
The better question is, why not?
the idea with
Scientists are so ignorant that you find that
you have to understand, Dej. Oh God, these are facts.
Wow.
Also, Dej, you have to realize that sooner or later you will realize that scientists are inherently evil in some capacity.
What's the fun of being a mad scientist if you don't get to play God?
Sorry, David, you can't.
Because you'll have a button. No, I can't say that joke.
Sorry, David, you can't escape the movie that easily.
I'm gonna go where the movie cannot take me.
And that's how he failed to escape.
Okay, so the
David, you know we're filming you, right?
So the thing about the movie, I'm sorry, the thing about the story of Dr. Moreau is like, well, the idea is like, well, Dr. Moreau is a guy who wants to perfect the human race of sorts by combining it with the aspects of animals here and there.
So what, he's the lizard from Spider-Man?
Basically.
It's literally every single cliche evil scientist plot you can ever think
it's
of.
Kind of, in a way, it's kind of like the Jackal from the Marvel comics. If instead of cloning, he just wanted to tinker with animals instead.
That's the thing, too. Like the whole scientist wants to mix humans with animals. That's a story that's as old as time. But
okay, I don't remember which year the original book was released, but it was relatively old, so that should be the trope codifier.
Jump scare?
Like.
Oh no,
okay, it's less
Marsupial!
There you go, 1896, the original novel, so fair enough, by H.G. Wells. Oh god, the CGI.
Oh god, okay. The practical effects, they're good, but the CGI...
In typical New Line Cinema fashion, when the CGI is bad, it's really bad. Oh...
By the way, Ron Perlman was supposed to be only on this film for a few weeks. He ended up being around, kept for months due to the machinations of Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer. None shall escape. Again, easy joke to make about the production of this movie. Like I said, while the production of this is the real star of it, the movie itself is still pretty bad. And has its crazy moments.
Don't get me wrong, audience. I'm trying to also to take the movie as seriously as I can. It's just that sometimes Marlon Brando's deliveries are quite something. Oh no.
Well, that was most unorthodox. Wow.
Oh,
Jor-El was kind of a dick, I see. What even is he... What kind of accent is he even going for?
Oh.
I didn't say shoot. But God, I mean, yeah, don't shoot the picture either.
So the idea is that the more civilized you become, the higher up in the ranks you are, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Let me check who the actors of the other children are supposed to be. Lomai, the guy who just got killed, is played by Mark Dacascos. Let me see. Oh, he played, I think, the villain in Batman Soul of a Dragon this year, actually.
Huh. Interesting.
Also, it was in John Wick Chapter 3. Cool. He's mostly specialized in action movies.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Good to see that this movie did not kill his career.
David, calm down.
Okay. So
we're filming, dude.
Okay. So reportedly,
What was that?
Bits like that were not Fearless acting. Those were legit his reactions to the production of the movie.
Oh my god!
And they included that in the film because I guess it's
Why
a good
not?
representation.
All right, let me see. There you go. Azazello is played by Tamira Morrison, aka Django Fett, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
For
Oof.
a second, I thought he was gonna make a Wookiee scream.
Not the same company.
You know, you gotta feel sorry for Fairuza Balk. Like, imagine being in Return to Oz and you think, this will be a step up. It's going to be an amazing picture here and there.
Also, I think... Also, I think this particular primate here is one that was played by Peter Elliott, but instead is also voiced by Frank Welker in post.
No. Actually, Peter Elliott played Assassimon.
Assassimon, sorry, my bad.
He was the baboon.
So now he's becoming smart and removing the chip that is being inserted into him.
Oh dear.
Interesting thing about
these transitions?
about the film's release.
Yes.
For some reason, New Line Cinema released the film in August 23rd of 1996 in the US.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out in Britain on November the 15th. Why the near 3-month gap, I don't know. Maybe it's like Gods of Egypt a few years ago, where the release, where the gaps between release was big for some reason. Maybe they were hoping that people would forget about the maybe they were hoping that people forget about the bad reception the film was getting in the States and think, British people will come to see the movie if we release it later.
Yeah, totally.
That is not how DNA surgery actually works.
Yeah, implying that this movie understands anything.
Yeah. Is it any better or worse than the DNA replacement thing in Die Another Day?
I don't remember that. So.
Okay, Theo, question then. What is worse, this or trying to become an one?
Well, why?
You just
He's
saw
the
that.
furry!
Well, wait, hold on. But it's pig women he's making out with. Is that really a furry, or is it more so a snouty?
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the real question is, Java, is no.
Yeah.
It's not a question though. But
Yes,
yeah,
Pedro. God.
So what's worse, Theo? This or that what he was doing right now with the DNA surging, or becoming an alien by trying to eat one?
I guess you're talking about District 9.
Yes.
Again, remember, I still haven't seen that movie. I cannot tell.
Yeah, don't worry. There's not any context you need. It's literally this guy who wants to become an alien by eating one. That's all the context you need, I assure you.
Again, I don't know the logistics behind that movie, but like I mentioned before, and the idea of assimilating knowledge of another being by consuming its flesh is a concept as old as mankind.
I guess.
So I guess I imagine Interesting Nine tries to explain it more scientifically than this, but it's certainly still better than agitating, a petri dish and saying no, it's colored differently,
Oh crap.
Yeah. Oopsie poopsie.
Yeah.
He's going to become the Joker.
Houston, we have a problem.
Tell me.
I'm sorry, David. We need another take for that. Also, was Val Kilmer sleep deprived for this sequence? Because it did sound like he was literally breaking down as he was speaking.
Well, considering how this movie pretty much more or less drove everyone involved in it insane at some point, sure, why not?
And this is based off a book, right?
Yes. Like I said, an 1896 novel by H.G. Wells. Again, like I said, the original story is pretty good on its own. There's good material. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if Hollywood, tries to remake this story again in the upcoming years.
Yeah, except
why not?
A more competent director.
Even in general, they have a better production in general.
Okay.
Tia, this is the third time they tried to adapt the film.
Third time's a charm.
They didn't remember, so I also believe they didn't stop Fox with the Planet of the Apes.
I see wearing a chip.
Also, Val Kilmer with a sexy grin and a chip on his face. Sure.
Yep.
What
Also,
was the squeaky toy? What the fuck?
Is that a Walkman that he's having in his pants? And a flask of alcohol, I guess?
They're doing whatever they can to cope to you.
There's a story behind this appearance, and I want to know it.
Well, Tia, you may get it when we get to the documentary.
Mr. Kilmer, are you trying to seduce me?
Actually, believe it or not, if anyone was trying to seduce people, it was Marlon Brando here. See, during the making of this movie, Marlon Brando propositioned quite a few foreign ladies with the use of a translator. Said translator was his sister.
Oh.
Classy.
He was 72 when the film came out.
Also, no, David, you cannot get out of the movie even this way. I'm sorry.
That's the coward's way,
They will use
David.
your corpse for production.
Okay. But Joe,
write on your will, my likeliness cannot be used.
Okay. All right, Jova.
Yes.
There is a slight thing that might make that a bit, and I don't know if icky's the right word, because I don't know how old the people that he was propositioning, whatever the word is.
Oh, they were young women.
He was 72, and he already had a partner at that point.
Again, Dwibs. Like I mentioned, his translator was his sister. Granted, his whole family was falling apart, but that is no excuse.
Of course, this isn't.
Again, the making of this movie is so insane.
Again with this.
Yes.
Of all the animals to be particularly cruel against in this movie.
Hey, it could be worse.
What? How?
It could be a dog.
See, this is why I mentioned that Watership Down, is not.
Oh,
that,
God. Here we go.
Is this at?
That is an ice bucket he is wearing.
I was going to say, was that a bucket on his head?
That is a literal ice bucket.
Look, I know that Valve has an interesting creative idea, but hats in Team Fortress 2 have to stop.
Believe it or not, this is where Brando actually finally started to wear on the nerves of the people who were doing everything he asked for. See, originally, while they were reworking the script, he wanted it to be revealed that he took off the ice bucket, and underneath it was revealed that he was a dolphin all along. Yeah, that was the. Believe it or not, that was the point.
Oh my God, he's actually doing. Oh.
Jimmy. Now,
it's official. The movie is officially developing to sell parody.
Yes. Now, believe it or not, that was the point where New Line Cinema said, "No, Brando. No." And
this has to stop.
Cancel production, then.
Well, okay, no, they couldn't edge because too much money was sunken at this point. Like, they needed something to show for it. It was essentially about look, we should not have come this far, but let's just keep on going, damn it. Okay. Let's see them try and have a serious conversation. See, apparently, she is starting to change over time.
But how? Is she becoming more human or more cat-like?
It's all about beauty on the inside, no matter what you mutate into.
As would say.
Gonna be a furry.
Every woman's dream?
Really? Well, hold on. Actually, actually, hold on. I'll be right back. I'll get back to you, Joe. Wait a moment.
Let's laugh to hide the pain. But yeah, okay. So, originally she was actually supposed to be more cat-like with Richard Stanley's... Well, okay, she is becoming more cat-like, but originally Richard Stanley had her appear, well, much more humanoid here. Yeah, kind of funny how sometimes...
Is it also saved on the makeup?
Basically, originally there was supposed to be a sex scene that would reveal that she had more nipples, like, a cat does here and there.
Oh, please.
And now she would have had much more further, which would have revealed her more cat-like stuff. Okay, so I will give Richard Stanley this. He did very much have a vision for this movie. And one could argue he had a very good idea for this movie. The problem was just that the stars were all aligning against this movie in production. And mind you, he wasn't helping things as well here. Granted, New Line Cinema did try to shortchange him literally from the word go. Because believe it or not, originally they tried to betray him by having instead Roman Polanski direct this movie. Yes, that Roman Polanski. And mind you, Richard Stanley was the one who came up with the idea for this movie. So what Richard Stanley did was first he hired a warlock to work some magic in his favor. Then he went to Marlon Brando's estate. Now, basically, an assistant from New Line Cinema came to accompany him to make sure that he didn't pull anything funny. But Marlon Brando found a way around that. He cranked up the air conditioning enough to make the assistant fall asleep so that Richard Stanley could properly pitch his idea without interference. And at that point, Brando agreed and would only do the movie as long as Richard Stanley was on board. So New Line Cinema had to cave in eventually.
Okay, screw the commentary. Sorry. Screw the documentary. I want an actual movie, as in kind of like The Disaster Artist.
A mockumentary?
A movie about the making of this movie.
I know, right? So far, the best thing we've got is the documentary, but trust me, again, like I said, there's a reason that the experience is only full when you see both this movie and the documentary. But it's okay, let's play some music to calm everyone down.
In the meantime, Jova, I just went to ask if that is indeed the dream of every woman. And Vanessa responded to me with, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So I'm assuming.
The results have been mixed.
So results have been mixed. So far.
Hang on. What did you ask her?
I asked well, remember, we were all, I want to be you said, I want to be a furry in a joke, and Joe was all like, oh, the dream of every woman. That's why I told him. I'll get back to you right there. So, okay, so far I've gotten a no. Shira. You need to ask Alice to see what she thinks.
I don't need to ask her, because let me tell you this again right now. We're both furries.
Oh, there you go.
The disgrace of humanity.
Well, they go, Joe, but so far we're 2-1.
Don't you see, Shiro? This movie, the practice behind this movie are counterproductive against you, because, you know, if people are turning to animals, animals will not be able to produce any more fursuits.
So they're starting to question things, like they call him father, but he's not like them.
Oh god, they're having an existential crisis.
Yep.
I'm getting out of here.
He's signaling to me. He's signaling.
Activate something.
Yeah, the chips essentially.
That's a good question.
It's all about discipline, my children.
Wait, I forgot. Like, maybe I missed a line or something, but did Val Kilmer not told Dr. Moreau that this guy has not anymore his chip inside him?
Apparently not.
Wow, this is embarrassing.
I command you.
There's still a lot of this movie left.
You know...
Yeah, I remember. If I remember correctly, again, Dr. Moreau still dies around like two-thirds into the story, and the rest is about the characters trying to escape the island.
Want to know the sad thing? This could be considered the actors taking their bit out with Marlon Brando here. Let me put it like this. Val Kilmer was the worst one on set, but Brando was terrible himself. Let me put it like this. He was so terrible that there were... Oh, dear.
What's this movie's obsession against bunnies?
To show the depravity.
Again, out of all the animals you could have chosen, you know, not only there is no anthropomorphic, you know, rabbit alongside these people, but rabbits are chosen as the cattle.
Maybe it's a prey metaphor? I don't know.
So, let me put it like this. There was a point in the production where people were so pissed with Brando that there were certain bits where people were not allowed to hold any form of gun while around him. That's how pissed they were at him. Like I said, Shiroi, the making of this movie was cursed.
Do you think they requested this scene?
Possibly.
So, what now?
Well, I'm just gonna see my way out.
These expressions.
You had a clear shot and you missed.
What? Yes, sir.
Was he just high throughout this? Like,
yeah, his face is clearly...
Either high or sleep deprived, or both.
That is not the face of a sober person.
Oh, please don't tell me that she mistakes him for having murdered her father.
She have fangs?
Oh, thank God, no.
And so that's it. Brando's out of the movie.
But the biggest question to know is who was murdered, the master or the apprentice?
The master.
Val, what are you...
Dr. Moreau.
Val, what are you doing?
We're filming... oh my god, again with this. No, Val, you cannot rip apart the script.
We already tried that. It didn't stop the movie from being made.
So basically, the last third of the island of Dr. Moreau is essentially the more civilized animals versus the animals who, well...
want to be more instinctive, yeah.
Yeah.
So is this a prequel to Zootopia?
Definitely not. Again, the original novel, and to give credit, again, taking aside from Russia, to give credit to what the story is presented, it's about what makes a human, who is the real animal and who is the real intelligent being. It's showcased by the fact that the real humans sometimes are more too sadistic and sometimes being animalistic of their own, or sometimes even the brutish animals might deserve more compassion. Something. Again, it's a simple type of concept for a story, and that, to be fair, this movie at least tries to recapture something. It's just that because of at least the stuff that we know so far, and from what I get, there's going to be even more to know. Everyone looks like they're even too high or sleep deprived.
Well, again, given what we know, some probably were high and some were too sleep deprived because they were too busy having sex with each other late into the night. Again, we know about the production of this movie, and we will get to see that well and full into the documentary.
Okay. Normally it's Jova and Dej who ask these questions, or to an extent also Pedro, but why is Batman Muscle not done on what happened of this yet?
You want to what happened of this? Go to his Patreon. So
fair enough.
Right.
Or actually, give me money and I'll do that.
Oh no! I'm a monster! I mean, I have... Oh yeah. Basically, she was,
experimented on.
And basically, she was given a serum that would stop her regression. Unfortunately, now without Moreau to help give her the serum, yeah, she's becoming more cat-like now.
It's okay, you can just sleep and not pay taxes.
Wow, I can't believe they put Shiro in the movie.
Okay, again.
Hey, if I was a cat, I'd be a lot happier about it than she is.
Again, this movie is frustrating because, to give Richard Stanley some credit, it did seem like he had an idea here. And to be fair, I bet he really wanted no association with this final product.
Maybe you did mention it in one of your recaps before, but just for this particular question, because probably we will learn that also in the documentary. Considering all the chaos, the barrage, and everyone freaking the fuck out, this had to be the child of someone. Someone needed to have the original idea and wanted to put this on screen. Who do we know who that is? Also,
that was all Richard Stanley. Like I said, Richard Stanley was actually really interested in the novel. He was the one who crafted ideas, the production notes,
little did he know that things will spiral this much out of control.
This was supposed to be his magnum opus, but like I said, he was betrayed from the start, essentially, because again, even though he presented like I mentioned, even though he presented this idea here and there, New Line Cinema did greenlight it, but went behind his back and hired Roman Polanski to direct it instead of, the guy who came forward with the idea from the get-go. Which, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, what's this? Dr. Moreau is apparently alive.
This is 2 movies in a row where I'm sitting here thinking, maybe I should check out the book.
But anyway, though, no. Richard Stanley did have a vision and plans. The problem is that, again, when he got replaced and went stir-crazy, they had none of his ideas here and there. So, for all intents and purposes, this is like the horrid love child of whatever was left of his ideas.
Calm
Guys,
down,
we're filming.
Basically, the actors breaking kayfabe.
See? Who's the animal?
Also, just remember the last movie
Yeah.
didn't have a book. It was Anne that had a book.
that grin on his face. Why did you destroy the serum?
For funsies.
I got bored.
I got bored.
I actually drank it all.
Big sip.
Okay, now it's time for the movie to lose all sense of sanity and rationality.
Oh,
Wait,
we
now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look, I told you
There's
this
still
movie.
like a quarter of this movie left. What the fuck?
Well, sure, we gotta
Yeah,
save the
Joe.
best for last.
I don't think I should say this on camera. It's a joke.
What?
You can text it to him. It's fine.
No, but I want all of you to hear it.
If Deji knows where Jova lives, I'd hate to be Jova right now.
I know where he lives.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, so I was like, Jofa, when we meet up, don't be surprised if the first thing I do is punch you.
Now, Dad says edited. You're somebody who subjected Pedro to Amazing Spider-Man 2. You don't exactly get to talk now.
Actually, but here's the thing. Pedro suggested me to the Swan Princess movies.
You know, if I ever went to New York and met you two guys, still mulling about what I want to do.
Give me another copy of Balan Wonderworld, Wibbs.
Yeah, I'll buy Balan Wonderworld, fly with it to New York, and just give it to Jova and Deji, and then just go straight back on the plane to England.
Doesn't elaborate. Leaves. Oh. You know... Okay, wait. Actually, to be serious. If they were to make this again, would you want the Henson Company to do the production?
That could
I
be.
suppose.
Sure,
I'd
sure.
rather have it. Definitely, I would rather have it than every single creature being CGI'd. Obviously.
Yeah, because, like I was just forgetting about the dark,
what the
dark
fuck?
crystal. So it's like just make the animals like that.
I am sorry. I know with like Warbles at the end, but I still need to ask. What's with this fucking transition? Okay, enough. Let me check who the editor of this thing is. Paul Rubel. Wait, I remember hearing this guy. Yes, he was the editor for stuff like Blade.
Huh.
And some of the Transformers movie. That was in the 2003 Peter Pan. I guess he too was not giving a shit when it came to this.
And Triple X.
The last thing that he has edited for is Bumblebee in 2018.
I mean, the editing of that film was
But in general,
not noticeable. So,
he was also the editor for the Battleship movie. Okay, now this explains a lot, because the editing for Battleship reminds me a lot also of this.
that's the thing, though. From what I've heard, he's either a decent editor, like in Bumblebee, or this.
What the?
Why do we have a licensed song now? What is
The
going
movie
on?
lost its
Oh
plot.
God!
Don't question it.
And now
Yeah,
it's
but
Val
basically what
Kilmer's
Deji
turn
said.
to lose it.
Basically, what they just said there. The movie's off its rocker. It's gone. Like it's just.
Oh,
Now Val
goody.
Kilmer's like, I'm the star now. I'm sitting in the throne and everything.
Oh, now what's happening? Oh,
They blew up
The
a
movie-
boat.
It's
License
official, Shiro. The movie is
Boat.
completely. It's official, Shiro. The movie is completely off its rocker. It's gone.
What the hell is he wearing?
He is literally
He looks
using.
like
We have lost the movie,
Using
Shiro.
what?
We've lost it.
He is literally using ADR to sound like Marlon Brando, essentially to trick the civilized
I can
animals
safely
into thinking that he is their leader.
he looks like Eminem in one of his weird costume choices.
Complete with a licensed song.
Seriously, what the fuck?
Meanwhile, Douglas is trying to make that serum for his love interest. Oh yeah, that's right. He and the cat girl are love interests in this movie, in case you didn't know.
I mean, it was very telegraphed from the first shot, yeah.
To be fair, if I recall correctly, that's a thing from the novel about him.
Yeah. Makes sense. Checks out.
I'll admit.
Again, if this movie was done to this day, they will probably try to have a more proactive role.
And now... there's literally an orgy happening around him.
Oh my god. Can I go back?
Was this the one you talked about in the behind the scenes and they actually put in the movie? Like,
okay, believe it or not, Troy, no. The orgies I'm talking about were done while waiting for Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer to come out of their trailers.
Can I go back to being traumatized by the puppets in the Weezer? Thank you.
Wait, whoa. Really? This movie has you asking for that now?
Let me say this, Jova. The Weezer itself was a bad movie, as you yourself told, you know. But
let me guess, he's slowly transforming into an animal as well.
Probably.
That would be stupid.
But at the very least, there was only one major moment where I freaked the fuck out. Here, I think I'm about to lose my mind just as much as these people. I think this is just like Apocalypse Now, where you start more normally, but the more you dwell deep into the jungle, the more you lose sense of rationality and of what's the concept of civilization is.
If I recall correctly, that's kind of what happened during the production of this movie. I'm sort of paraphrasing one of the quotes from the documentary, but they said little by little they became the island of Dr. Moreau themselves.
So he's also turning himself into a cat, maybe to make sex with his girlfriend less weird.
I will say this: give me enough joints, and in 5 minutes I will start telling the same identical things.
And now Val Kilmer's dead.
What?
Yeah, he's dead.
Remember that this particular child was planted because the instinctual animals removed his pain inhibitor. Let me guess, he's gonna use the gun to kill him. Yep. No.
I think you got him. Look.
Also, you run out of bullets at some point, so...
So, was that the actor taking it out on how much of a dick Val Kilmer had been?
Yeah, let me check again, because I haven't still checked here. Hyena's Wine, there you go. Daniel Rigney.
Huh.
Let me see.
You are the lucky man who will get to shoot Val Kilmer not once, not twice, but 4 times in this movie, young sir.
If only it was 6 and you could have claimed to have shot Michael Myers or something.
Oh, goody. This was actually one of the last things he did in his career.
Oh,
hold on. Give me a second.
Well, if you want...
That wasn't the last.
Tragically, he died in 1997 via brain hemorrhage. Oof.
Oh.
Well, at least we can always make love before I become a cat so it doesn't become too weird.
Wait, seriously? Jova, what is going on?
We're trying to have a heartful scene here.
It's not working. It's really... Where's my alcohol? Why can't I use alcohol? Damn it.
I wish I had some right now.
Yeah, me too.
Look, guys, I told you, while this movie seems generic bad at first, no, it devolves. Just like she's devolving.
I can't even say that.
I don't even.
It's just the...
Please, Dej, tell me you're giving this one another 0.
I can't.
Why?
It just deserves a 1 or a 2.
Okay.
Because this doesn't anger me.
Not really. Like it's one of those things where, okay, this movie's just insane and it's completely off its rocker, which is kind of interesting to behold. Obviously,
not even interesting. It's also boring as well.
I'm also mortified than anything.
Yeah. Like, don't look, viewers. If you're listening, don't watch this. Give us views, obviously, but don't watch this movie.
Well, this will be an audio commentary, so they don't even have to watch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, the idea here is that it's supposed to be a companion piece.
I mean, they probably won't believe what. I mean, they probably won't believe what they're seeing if they see it, or what we're saying if they don't see it.
No, guys, trust me. There are some things you're better off not.
Also, movie. If she's supposedly still regressing, why are people not becoming vertical?
Because she's a cat girl. Those are usually one of the last things that happen.
Of course, it's so convenient.
Did they run out of budget?
But
Probably.
now, let us release the animals so that they can be free.
Also, since we mentioned the Cats movie earlier, I have to wonder, what was it like reading the audio description for this? I would love to know.
Oh, God. Oh, God, here we go.
Does this movie even have an audio description
Wait.
audio track? I'll look at it.
But there's a jumping from an explosion shot in the island of Dr. fucking Moreau.
Yeah, I think this... Okay, would it surprise you if I mentioned that a lot of the cast and crew describe this as insanity and their greatest nightmares ever?
Okay, I wouldn't be too surprised if this is actually the entire process and everything in the movie itself are actually taught in movie making schools, because in order to set like any kind of example, because this is such a unique case.
And mind you, we haven't even gotten to the documentary itself, but this movie itself is just...
Also, how many firearms did the doctor had on his fucking island?
Quite a bit, actually. Is it all out of your system yet?
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Wait.
When did this film turn into a knock off of Die Hard?
Apparently, sure, I'm checking the Blu-ray credits, and apparently there's no audio description track.
You know what? That might be for the best.
Probably.
But I still would have loved to have heard it.
The narrator probably would have broke. Their brain would have broke.
Oh no, Val Kilmer's
The last we see of Val Kilmer are his legs and his feet.
Uh-oh. This could present a problem.
You were trying to again. Why did you put the shot before of him getting into the elevator if you wanted to give the surprise that it was him coming down? Basic directing 101.
Oh, Jango Fett, Jango Fett. I'm gonna say it. The prequels were a step up for this guy.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing, though. At the very least, I don't remember stories of Hayden Christensen yelling at George Lucas. Ah!
Jango Fett even doing the prequels.
He allowed himself to be cloned multiple times and failed spectacularly in a fight against Obi-Wan. Then he shot actually a Jedi during the arena fight, but Mace Windu decapitated him.
Okay.
As like he was barely in the movie.
Okay, to give credit to the actor though, he's now playing Boba Fett himself, and yeah, he was pretty awesome as Boba Fett in Mandalorian.
In the book of Boba Fett. And Mulan's a sidekick.
Yes.
Which Mulan?
Ming Na Wen.
The first one.
Ah, okay.
The animated one. Who plays Agent May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Wait, are they really? Oh my god!
Oh.
She
Really?
literally made a cat noise as she died.
Again, I don't remember exactly how the original story did ended in entirety, but considering how this movie was going, you'd think that they would be with both him and her riding into the sunset or something.
I guess they
No,
did stay
sorry.
true to that bit
Everyone
of the story.
dies.
Well, I can say officially that this movie subverted my expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
Yeah.
to give this movie some credit, it does technically stay true to the novel for the most part. It just executes it terribly.
Love you too.
You had no expectations.
Well, I guess some, considering we're still surprised in some capacity. Oh, wait, but now we're killing Ron Perlman too. No.
The law. What are we in Judge Trent now? The law.
Also, I don't know who this concept was for this particular animal taking over, but
Wow.
called
You're
it.
just cartoonishly evil, aren't you?
Has anyone told this guy that hyenas are supposed to be matriarchal societies?
Well, yeah, I mean, have you seen what female hyenas are packing?
I mean, I don't mean this. I mean that, a female hyena should probably be in command right now, not this guy.
Yeah. And like I said, female hyenas are packing something.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh?
David Thewlis is like, So this is what inspired that scene in Code Geass, where one of the characters gets accidentally hypnotized and kills everybody somewhere.
Kinky.
Honestly,
There's no space.
I don't know what this movie was even thinking, because all I get from this point of the movie was essentially just that they wanted it to end. They all wanted it to end.
What was it? What was that last bit you said, Shuri, by the way? I didn't quite get that.
I said personal space.
Personally, if I was escaping the country, I would have done it by the time production day, one of the days ended, called the hotel, asked for a flight for the next day. Then once production ended, I just call a cab to the airport and be like, bye.
Fun fact, actually, supposedly after his last scene, John Frankenheimer had Val Kilmer apparently escorted off the set by security and told him never to come near him again.
Yeah, it's like that's what I said earlier, is they get this bastard off the set.
He also had this to say about Val Kilmer. If I were ever to make a biographical film about the life of Val Kilmer, I would not hire Val Kilmer.
What's the thing, Joe? That Val Kilmer did make a biographical film about his life.
And supposedly, that movie did show his side of the story in all this. But yeah, that's a good question. Who's the father? Who's the real leader? And of course, they ended up turning on themselves out of it.
They also say at this point, nobody, because they'll all be dead.
How did you miss? He was in clear view on the beach and you missed him.
Oh, not another one. Oh, my
God.
This was them blowing up the set at the end.
Remember, these were the years where Michael Bay was starting to become the cliche that he's known for today.
No. To be fair,
this was before Michael Bay became really popular.
I'm pretty sure that at least something that he did was around this time.
Bye. Wait, one-liner.
The Rock.
Please, no. Yeah, there you go. Bad Boys and The Rock were done around this time as well. So...
Those were two good movies.
No, but they did start like the cliches of like the popularization of jumping from explosion. Okay, we'll give also this to the movie for what it's worth. At the very least, they try to make the scene more impactful by not having other lines of dialogue, and let the scene do the talking itself. So fair enough on that.
What are even Foolis's expressions there?
Oh God, please let it end.
Basically. Oh, and I guess this is how it ends. Lupin is gonna make a makeshift trap and will try to go away.
It was like, oh, God,
yeah, I don't think so.
I was about to.
Oh, you'll be back, will you?
With the militaries, probably to nuke the fucking place.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, too. They probably... How many of them are left? They were killing
You're never too careful, Dibs. Like Ripley said, it's the only way to be sure.
Now, to be fair, he promises he'll be back. There are people who can understand and help. Oh. Was that Perlman's way of saying I should have been off this picture for weeks? Yeah. Can you imagine if this movie had been successful enough that they would have held actors to contract and forced them to come back for sequels?
Figures. Despite all the bizarre production, this did not kill New Line Cinema. But it was the Golden Compass in a post-Lord of the Rings age.
That just seems...
The world really is without logic.
Yeah, I know, right?
Also, where did that smoke came from in that shot?
No.
David smoking a cigarette.
You know what the best thing would be? If it's all at least teased in the end, but this was all an hallucinogenic dream by the character while it's still in that raft at the beginning of the movie.
Oh God, that's probably a movie theory based off of that.
It would be kind of like Sonic 060 literally erases itself after a swirling of insanity.
Well, that's enough of that.
So what exactly? Okay, I know there was Harry Potter, but what did David Foolis do immediately after this?
Okay, I'm trying.
Didn't he do Timeline at some point?
I think it was maybe the protagonist of the Time Machine of 2002. I forgot if it was him or someone else. Let me see. Oh, it was in 7 Years in Tibet. That was cool. The Big Lebowski as well.
It was in the Big Lebowski?
Yes. Apparently, there's a character called Knox Harrington. I forgot which one it is. Let me see. Yes, it was in Timeline, like Jova mentioned. Good memory. I forgot. Kingdom of Heaven. I like that one. Basic Instinct 2. The Boy in Striped Pajamas. Warhorse.
Yes,
Anomalisa,
we
Macbeth.
We are all animals and all that.
He's supposed to star in Avatar 3, apparently. Good to know.
Please don't try to have a message.
Avatar 3.
Yes, you're right. It's trying to have a message.
No, go away.
Shiri, who's the real animal? What it means to be a human?
The people behind this movie.
Please,
Again,
please. Please tell me there's no post-credit scene.
There may be, but that said, I have a bit of a fun fact. I have a bit of a fun fact to share with you guys here. So as I've mentioned, the original director, Richard Stanley, had gone crazy and vanished off into the jungle. Well, thankfully he is okay. Because apparently he'd been doing some rehab after finding an aboriginal tribe that he'd been staying with in the jungle, which some of the cast and crew found. So they snuck him back onto the set with some heavy makeup that he wore the entire time. Let's just say Richard Stanley got the last laugh because he got to see that the film, as it was having an even worse time than when he was directing here and there. And he kind of joined in on the last scene where they're all tearing apart the laboratory and set here, saying that, yeah, it was kind of what we all needed to just tear the set down physically on camera here and there. And want to know how it gets even better? At the wrap party, he had the privilege of getting to tell Val Kilmer straight to his face that he'd been an asshole. To which Val Kilmer did finally swallow his pride and apologize profusely for. Granted, the damage had been done since, again, Val Kilmer being unable to be controlled is the main reason Richard Stanley got fired as the first director.
Also, just to let you know, this was produced by Edward R. Pressman, a guy who has been producing a lot of different things, including the Masters of the Universe movie, you know, the one from the 80s, the 80s Masters of the Universe, the Street Fighter movie, The Crow, and its sequel, American Psycho, that was quite a thing.
Christian Bale movie?
Yes, I particularly like it because that one is also kind of insane. Basically, this guy has also a roller coaster of good and bad movies under his belt, but still, I also want to question him for the production. Seeing that everything was going to the shitter, he allowed everything to press on regardless. Jesus Christ. But
the mentality seemed to be, look, we know that we should not have come this far. We know that this is outright insanity. But we're too far in. Let's just see how far we can go before everyone literally snaps in two and goes insane.
Alright, Weebs, you want to start with your final thoughts, maybe?
Yeah, I'll go first. Don't worry, I'll be real quick because there's also the documentary to go into as well next time. Yeah, this film was just a crazy mess. I mean, nothing added up. No characters were really all that interesting. The music is just kind of there, and the performances are just woof. So much talent, and yet they all either overact or underact. Like I've got no clue what the hell Brando was going for. Kilmer was just, again, I don't know what he was doing either. And Thulis, again, what's with those wide, bug-eyed expressions? I guess he's supposed to be expressing fear, but really it just looks like he's coked out of his mind. And again, that's nothing to say. The production of the movie, where it seems like no one was on the same page, and everyone and others were fighting each other.
Oh, by the way, just want to let you know, when Richard Stanley was fired, he was fired via fax.
How lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when Stone Cold Steve Austin got fired from WCW by a phone call and FedEx.
Hey.
Also, I wanna ask a small question. Where was this music in the movie?
Specifically for the credits?
Yeah, because I wish the movie had this kind of score route.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe it did, and we just didn't notice it underneath all the insanity.
Go ahead, Libs.
So yeah, overall, this one was a complete train wreck. I mean, it was at least an entertaining train wreck, but it's still a train wreck, and one that really dampened my view on a couple of the actors in general. I'm pretty sure you can tell which ones. Again, I know this was 20 years ago, and who knows, maybe in the years since, Val Kilmer is no longer such a big arsehole. But yeah, it certainly hasn't helped. And yeah, to top it all off, unlike Apocalypse Now, that also featured Brando, this film wasn't even worth it.
Yeah, again, imagine going through all this insanity, and this is what the result is. It was panned by critics galore. Viewers hated it,
yeah,
and it bombed at the box
office. The few who actually went to see it.
Like, again, imagine. The movie only truly got its value back when arguably the documentary in 2014 was made.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Alright, do you mind if I go next?
Sure, go on.
Anyway. Well, considering the documentary will tell also about the premise, I will distinctly separate that and just talk about the movie in itself. Again, as someone who knew the original story of the Island Dr. Moreau, it has a definitely fine start at the very least in trying to modernize the idea of the story, but then it just devolves and never comes back. Only maybe at the very tail end it has a shred of what the original idea was supposed to be, but there's just something in that last bit between the halfway point and the almost end of the movie, that is just pure insanity between everyone's facial expression, the improvisational lines, the fucking bucket on top of Marlon Brando's head. I would like to remind you, but the last time we've seen something like that was in the Star Wars Holiday Special, which was supposed to be played for comedy, by the way. There,
this is something you will take seriously, or we've just sunk our money into nothing.
But so yeah, again, the actorial performances are all over the place. The one Marlon Brando seems to be the more competent one of all things. Weird hats aside, his delivery is still, competent enough for most of the movie. By contrast, everyone else sounds like they're even phoned in, or they have no idea what they're doing. David Fueley's facial expressions are gold in this. I didn't even know that the guy could do that.
Remember, Tio, some of that wasn't even really acting, but him kind of reacting to how the movie was going on.
To the set.
Let it all.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've heard of art from adversity, but this is just... I think insane is a little too light of a word at that point.
No, that's the thing. This is not what they meant.
The movie argues a bit gratuitous. I get the idea what the point is supposed to be, to also scream the viewer in different places, but I believe that he presses the pedal just a tad too much on the front.
I mean, what else can you say when you've seen Val Kilmer literally making out with pig ladies, and he literally makes a line saying, "And you bore me."
I will argue it's more the rabbit dismemberment. I don't remember if it was a thing also in the book or in this specific way, but still, whatever. Again, the story has a solid concept of its own, but this execution is just not working. The score is a bit all over the place, so the credits have the best music out of all this. And that weird licensed song sprinkled near the 2/3 mark. It's so bizarrely out of place, The special effects are fine. I still question why putting explosions in this. Again, probably an idea of modernizing the formula, try to make these 90s, because 90s were all about this action, you know. Let's try to also ape up a bit the action movies of the 80s a bit, I guess. But no, this ain't it, Chief. Again, I'll just stick with the... Again, the other Simpsons parody was done kind of in response to this movie in particular. Not directly, but because this movie had reinvigorated a bit the knowledge about the story. So like, let's parody this because it's a bit more popular this time. I'm still surprised that despite everything about this, so little people actually viewed this movie.
That's the thing, though, too. Remember, this movie, in a way, is what inspired Mini-Me from Austin Powers. So its influences felt here and there.
And that character in South Park as well. But again, despite everything, casual viewers probably would have ate this movie up when it came out. I'm surprised that not many people actually watched it in the end. But whatever. It happened what it happened. When it came time to talk about the production, it will. As a movie in itself, it's just not good.
How do you feel it is as an adaptation?
No, okay. Like I said, it can work, but it loses itself as the movie as it goes on. That's pretty much my summation of it. You know, it has some things that I do kind of like the idea and takes, on what to do, but others that I do not. That's as basic as you can get with that for me, on my part. But that's pretty much it from me. Next.
Shiroi.
Well, that sucked.
Hey, that's my joke.
But Shiroi.
So tell us more.
But Shiroi.
I will tell you more. I will tell you more. Don't worry. But yeah, no, that sucked. And look, I don't think the movie doesn't make me angry. I can at least say that. But it does make me uncomfortable just because, nobody enjoyed this whatsoever. And everybody was a dick. And a lot of people suffered. And it's like, I don't know if I can... Like, I wouldn't enjoy this movie anyway, even without all that stuff. But it's like, it just makes me uncomfortable. Like,
even with
knowing
the cat
how
girls
much...
in it? Even with the cat girl in it?
No, that's not going to do anything for me either.
Dang! When it comes to people who were dicks, it was mainly Marlon Brando, Val Kilmer, and John Frankenheimer. But again, I won't go too much into detail on that. We've already talked enough about this stuff.
But everybody else still has to... We'll say more about it tomorrow, but everybody else had to put up with them, which is why I'm still a bit...
Yeah, absolutely.
This is not good. This is not good.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because if it wasn't for any of that, I would have probably put this in the category of, like, this is good for a laugh, if you're watching this with friends, but then... That's it. You don't need to watch it any more times.
Yeah.
The movie's just bizarre. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And
it tries to have that message at the end.
Yeah, no, movie. You can't do that. Fuck you.
What message?
That is that the line between animal and humanity is very thin, and we should all keep the animal within ourselves. We all still have our animalistic
nature, and Jesus Christ.
I will say this: I'm really missing the fact that I wish I could have actually used alcohol in this.
But Tio, then you would
don't waste it on this.
Then you would release the animal within you and be no better than an animal, according to this movie or something. I just find it rich whenever movies like this try honestly to go, wagging the finger at people who act like this or that, only to really do it itself.
But yeah, it's like, I think, a lot of the actors tried the best with what they had. What they had was literally nothing, but they tried, they had to. They were kind of under contract, it seems, because it was too far gone at this point. It wasn't worth it in the end on many fronts, but this is... Yeah, it's a pile of crap. So... I'm not sure of what else to say about it, really. Well, actually, no. I will say, pointed it out throughout the movie, but hey, like, the makeup is good. Yes. And we'll leave it at that. We'll have one positive.
Yep.
Hooray.
Don't worry, Shiroi. You'll have more to say when you see the documentary.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that documentary.
Okay, is that all?
Yes.
Deji.
Well, Jova, like I said earlier, don't be surprised if the first thing I do when we meet up is punch you in the face.
And then give you another copy of Balan Wonderworld.
Actually, do you own this movie on DVD by any chance?
No!
Merry Christmas!
Deds, come on, Deds. Why don't you instead give me something terrible like a copy of Spider-Man No Way Home?
Because the movie's not out yet.
I know what I said. Do the impossible.
Wait, he also implies that this movie's gonna be terrible.
Oh, well, yes, don't you see? It'll be such a terrible thing for me to have to watch it. That would be so terrible if you do that to me.
Don't fall for it, Deji. He's trying to trick you.
Yeah, I know. But I'll get back at you one day. But no, this movie sucks. It's boring. It's bad. It's terrifying to look at. I know that's the point. Is that it's supposed to strike fear, but it's like, no, I actually feel sick looking at every animal in this movie.
Except, whoa, even Feruza Bulk?
Yes.
Huh. She's more or less just a human with cat ears and teeth, but okay.
Oh, wait, her? No. She's fine. It's just everything else. It's like, no. Seriously, what the hell happened during production of this movie? It seems like a train wreck.
Again, Deds, I regret you won't be with us to watch the documentary. I'll probably still send you a copy, but no, trust me. That documentary sheds a lot of light onto what happened. Like I said, and like Tio said, make a disaster artist of this movie, cause holy cow.
Yeah, because it deserves it.
Like I said, the production of this movie makes the production of The Room seem professional by comparison. I do not. I am not exaggerating. I am not kidding. The Room had more professional business behind it than this movie.
Yeah, because okay, let's put it like this. The Room from the get-go was pretty much bad because everyone working on it basically had no experience.
Yeah.
Or barely had any experience. So the bar was set so low to begin with. This, on the other hand, was made by professionals. So the fact that it turned out the way it did, and like you said, made someone cry, and drove someone to try and flee the country until they got caught.
Yeah.
Oof. You can't even salvage what was made out of this film into something good. You just need to burn the whole thing down and reboot it.
Again, that's
into something.
Let me put things into perspective. Right. The most highly positive thing that came out of this is a documentary of the making of this movie. That was the most that could be salvaged out of this. And again, now we have potential for literally a disaster artist thing. Honestly, I do feel like if this was made at a time when the internet was more prominent, that this might have been The Room before The Room.
Basically, what Stuart said applied to what I think.
Okay. Pedro.
Terrible movie. He deserves to be punched.
Okay, I'm not gonna go into the behind-the-scenes stuff because I feel like we've already gone through throughout the entirety of the movie, so I'm just gonna try to focus on the movie itself.
Yes.
Honestly, the movie itself doesn't even tick me off all that much. It looks like a B movie, honestly. I don't really see. Yeah. It has that message at the end, but honestly, for most of it, it just feels like this movie was clearly made to be B schlock. To be honest with you, that's what the movie comes across as, even if that wasn't the intention. It's just insane all throughout, and it's abundantly clear that they had a basic idea for what to do, but they clearly completely lost their minds and just went crazy with the sciencey and the complete and the complete insanity of the actors and everybody revolting against each other and everything. So yeah, as a result, it's just one of those movies that clearly feels like it's just here to be like one of those crazy B schlock fests. That's what it feels like. It's impossible to take seriously. It's quite baffling to watch because of how poorly it is made. And yeah, aside from that, yeah, it's something that is quite interesting to watch. I can definitely see this movie being incredibly enjoyable if I was drunk or high
or all the above.
This is clearly the kind of movie that you should not watch sober.
Yeah.
That's a so I guess I'll put this on the list for drunk movie nights. Why not?
Goody.
Aside from that, the documentary. Well, I think it should be interesting to see specifics about where it goes. I guess, yeah. As for the whole disaster artist thing, yeah, definitely. I feel like a disaster artist equivalent, Ed Wood equivalent of this would be definitely an interesting proposition. So sure, why not? Aside from that, yeah, it's a really bad movie, but I have to admit it is an interesting kind of bad.
Yes.
It's not boring, which is more than I can say for New Mutants. This movie, at the very least, definitely has some value in terms of, entertainment value, just for the mere insanity of it.
I mean, how many movies can you say you saw where Marlon Brando was literally decked out in white lotion, making him look like an alley clown? Also, while he plays piano with a midget who he become obsessed with, capitalizing with him have literally wearing an ice bucket on his head.
Yeah, I was talking about yesterday how New Mutants is not bad enough to be entertaining or laughable. This movie, on the other hand, is it's this case where that movie is not good enough to be good or bad enough to be horrible. So it's just that incredibly generic bad, boring type of thing that doesn't really do anything either way. This one, at the very least, is so terrible that it actually manages to be, at the very least, quite... Again, it's like watching a complete... It's like watching a train moving in high speed towards a steel wall. Like, you know exactly what's going to happen, but you know what? Let's just sit around and see what happens, and then you just watch it as everything burns.
Yeah.
And it's just, wow, that was kind of interesting, watching that incredible, insane carnage happen right in front of me. So there's that. That's basically... So there is that. All right, that's it for me. Jova, closes out.
What can I say that hasn't been said already about this movie?
Say you like it.
No.
I think he likes the behind the scenes story of it rather than the movie itself.
I like this movie in the same way that I like Kellen Lutz. Not really. No.
No, it's like I said, it's more the behind the scenes stuff that interests you.
Okay, I will give the movie this. If you're looking for a movie that's so bad that you could spend a field day talking about it, this one may be up your alley. Again, part of that still has to do with the behind-the-scenes stuff, but trust me, the movie itself is still plenty bad. I'm not gonna reiterate much about the production stuff because that's what tomorrow is for. This movie itself, though, the actors are trying. Well, most of them are trying. Marlon Brando and Val Kilmer, I'm not quite sure if I'd call that trying so much as, again, just seeing with how much they could get away with. Because they knew they wouldn't be fired. Oof. Veruza Balk seems like she's trying, despite the fact that she was vigorously in Richard Stanley's camp before, well, he got tossed. But if there's one thing that's consistent, at some point, everyone looks like they're suffering some form of insanity during this one. David Thewlis especially. Like, is it any surprise that the guy has vowed never to watch this movie again? Like, man, the movie must have done a number on him. And mind you, he was like the third or fourth actor chosen for the lead role here and there. He was offered a huge amount of money just to get this thing done. And yet at the end, part of me wonders if he thinks it was not worth it, given whatever he had to go through. And given some of the lines, and again, let me remind you, a lot of people signed on because they wanted to act alongside Marlon Brando. How much do you think they were regretting that by the end?
Literal monkey's paw.
Yes! In fact, a lot of them did return to monkey in a sense. Oh god, this movie though, like I'm so split on this movie. It's garbage. People suffered for it. But given what this movie has given us, I'm fascinated by it. And yes, the obvious scientist jokes are to be made given it is a take on the island of Dr. Moreau. But no, seriously though, this is one fascinating mess here. And trust me folks, it's only gonna get better. Tune in tomorrow when we finally look at Lost Soul, the doomed journey of Richard Stanley's island of Dr. Moreau.
See ya.